It's another awesome day here on our Anvilworks podcast. Another weekend of January here. We're in our first weekend of January, so just moving along here with the new year, new resolutions, new everything. I'm Richard. This is Jake, as usual. We're going to go really random today.
Very random.
We've been random before, but today we're going to be random. So we're going to get rolling on a topic, and we're going to throw a couple things out, and whatever kind of nails us, and we'll keep going with that from there. So let's begin with, we talked about this earlier, I want to talk about radiation.
Oh, good old radiation poisoning.
Yes. Most people in the world are aware of Fukushima in Japan, the big nuclear meltdown happened a while back, and what happened with that and debris floating across the ocean and everything else. So recently, they've been smoking up again, right?
They don't know where the smoke's coming from. They don't know if it's from the ground when the nuclear, they don't know if, like, when the radiated fluids or whatever, the pools that had already leaked out, if they were going into the ground and with steam coming up from the ground, or if one of them was melting down again. They don't know what it is.
But the good news is the ocean's boiling.
Yes.
Near the shoreline there.
Just near the shoreline. Not the whole ocean, so you're fine. It's just near the shoreline.
And not that most of us don't live in Japan, which thinks we're okay. I will tell you, a lot of people live on the west coast of the United States, and if you look there, there's videos and stuff like that you can see too. But basically, when you look at it, the coast is dying and nearly dead. Crabs are gone, fish are gone, all seagulls, minimizing all that kind of stuff. They've done the Geiger kind of readings, and they're as high as 146, and stuff like that. We've seen San Francisco area, stuff like that. So, just when we talked a few weeks back, if you've seen it, maybe you haven't. We talked about don't eat Pacific fish, okay, and that's why there's huge toxic radiation levels in the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. Okay, from this whole meltdown, it affects everything, and people have been affected from eating that fish, including tumors and everything else. I know some health practitioners who have actually helped cure guys already from that, but actually located that as the source of the problem. Where other doctors are a little baffled and things like that, but it really comes back down to our food source again, and that's why we'll talk a lot in our podcast, as we've done in the past, and we'll continue to do so, is how important nutrition is and where you're getting your food from. Something like that, when you think about it's just it's Pacific salmon, it's this, it's that. Now you gotta take this into account. So this is, I'm not a big current events guy. Okay, I stopped that a bunch of years ago. I used to be really big into it, but to me it made me really negative and miserable. So I stopped about five plus years ago. I'm not into media, the news and all that stuff is just all negative, so it bumps me out and just makes me a more horrible person. And I can do that just fine on my own. Without the help of the media, but Jake still stays current.
Try to.
But there is some validity to it, obviously, when you're looking at stuff like that. But you got to put two and two together. One thing I always tell people is, like, the government may give it its okay. Oh, everything's under control, or whatever. The bodies that be and everything else. So to me, I usually that's my first red flag. Okay, when they tell me it's okay. It's like that old Ronald Reagan saying, when you get the knock on the door and say, we're here from the government and we're here to help. And that's when you run the other way.
Right.
But it's the same thing. They change their standards and things like that, but it never is. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that everything's melting down, the world's ending, that cause just major panic. But the reality from a food source standpoint is this affects the food source. You can't have that kind of radiation pouring into the ocean, all that debris from the tsunami, everything else, all that stuff in the ocean is not going to be affecting something. Now, I will say the ocean is an amazing thing, and it cleans itself, okay, but it doesn't do it overnight. Even with the big BP oil spill down in the Gulf, the ocean corrected itself. Okay, all the hype and everything else about that stuff, they did some cleanup, but it basically cleaned itself. I mean, it's an organic matter, and it takes care of it. So the ocean's pretty cool that way. But from a food source standpoint, you've got to understand this kind of stuff. So you're able to make choices when you go to the grocery store. You got to ask the right questions. Obviously, and if it's Pacific fish, just pass. Let it sit there. Let someone else take that. 'Cause you don't want to put that stuff in your body. We battle enough chemicals, food additives, food colorings, artificial flavorings, supposedly natural this, natural that all isn't. That goes into our bodies as it is. So when you can make a very simple, conscious choice not to have something, that's just going to give you that much more of a leg up. So keep that in mind. It's a big deal. You know, it's a really, really big deal. And it's hard to really state kind of the impact of it, and people don't really get it. I saw this thing the other day, yesterday, I think, and I think I posted it on maybe on my Facebook page, but it was, you know, people like losing their minds over 1% horse meat in their meat.
Oh yeah.
But you know, what was the other thing? It was just I had to laugh, you know, but they can have every chemical in the world, you know, all this other stuff in their food, and that's okay.
Right.
You know, it's no big deal. You know, it's just interesting how we've just been really led to believe what's good and what's not good. You know, I mean, really, you think about it, it's like, wow, all your dyes, your red dye 5s, your yellow 5s, yellow 6s, or however you want to do it. I mean, just there's so much stuff. I mean, you know, laboratory concocted stuff that they put in what they call food, and it's not a big deal to people. You know, it's really unusual. It really is just, and I used to be this way too. You know, I didn't care. I just ate. I had a good constitution, man. I could eat. I could get stuff in it. It never bothered me. And I never really got like sick. Like some people are really, really sick. You know, what they put in their body that has a major effect on their overall daily life. You know, I was actually fortunate with that. It didn't. Mine manifests itself in a lot of different ways. You know, whether it was extra weight gain or maybe a sluggishness and things like that. But as I've said other times to people, I say you don't really know how sick you are until you get healthy. Then you know how really sick you were. So a lot of people are kind of in this groove where they think they're okay, or it's not bad, or maybe it's just because they don't work out. You know, they could be better if they worked out. But really, it really comes back down to their food source. So until they actually get truly healthy, they don't know how sick they are. You know, I mean, I think, and
it's accurate.
Yeah, the problem is you can't get people to understand that. You know, they don't get
Walk
it.
around acting like, or thinking that they're healthy and realizing that they're really not.
Exactly. I think the definition of health is like way down here. You know, people don't know what that true health is. You know, when I talk about being truly healthy, and believe me, I'm on this journey with everyone else, you know, get better and everything else. But when I look around and we see people in the gym and they can't come in because they're sick, or they got this or they got that, and then they're what I call repeat offenders, which means they get sick often. You know, and it's not an excuse not to come work out. I don't mean it that way. What I mean is they get sick often. Okay, and that's not normal.
And then you ask them what their diet consists of, and
right, you start to see
that things start to line up a little bit.
Right, you start to get their daily intake, what is and not, and even if it's like I said, I've been where I thought I was healthy and then got healthier, but once I started learning what foods do and how they aid the body, I started getting that stuff in my diet on a regular basis. And honestly, I don't get sick. You know, again, I've always been pretty strong. I was never really a guy who got sick a lot, but I mean, I just stay, you know, I stay pretty even, which is great. Again, there's people who are, you know, have gastrointestinal issues and stuff like that, and they have to go all organic. They can have, you know, no carrageenan. They look at all kinds of stuff that's in food that really has an effect. My daughter's one of those. You know, we have to eliminate things to help her eczema and everything else. You know, so you got it slowly. Okay, we eliminate dairy. Well, okay, we did that for 3-4 months. Didn't have an effect. Okay, no problem. Get things tested. Nutritional response testing we've talked about before. I'll get that. Figure out. Okay, there's yeast issues. There's stuff like that. So people find a lot of. You can find a lot of things wrong. They can be corrected again through diet. I've recently, with my daughter and one of my sons, is gone completely gluten free. So you know, I haven't done that. Let me try that, and it's working. It's actually working, which is even got me. I kind of, you know, I'm into this stuff and everything. I'm thinking, huh. But now that you know, I look into it more and more, and I start doing it. It's like, you know, the eczema is getting better, the breathing, all that kind of stuff. You know, so it's really pretty interesting. You know, when you see the power of food. Again, a lot of times it's trial and error. You know, no one's going to just do this. Just eat cilantro. You're going to be fine. You know, turmeric, it cures everything. It's awesome stuff, but in some cases you've got to actually eliminate certain foods, and for a period of time, not for like 3 days.
Right.
Okay, you got to eliminate for like 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and start to feel a difference. So, with most people, it's just before they when I talk about eliminating foods, it's a tricky subject because a lot of stuff that we eat is not food. Okay, and that's one of those definition things that a lot of the stuff truly that we eat, that we consume, is not food. Okay, so when you talk about eliminating foods, you might want to start with stuff that's not food. Eliminate the non-food from your food diet.
Right.
Is that about the best way to put it?
I think so.
I just want to see people like realize what they're ingesting. What is this? It's hard to.
Basically, McDonald's cheeseburger, not food. Homemade cheeseburger, more food.
And that's a great point. If it doesn't decompose in 10 years,
I probably wouldn't eat that.
I'm going to say it's not food. So most people have seen the little video. She's going around for like 10 years now with the same French fries from McDonald's and the same hamburger, and it looks exactly the same as the day she bought it. It's not food.
Well, and it's scary that people are still buying all this stuff after that huge incident it was a couple of years back now, probably, with the pink slime.
Right.
After all of that blew up, the media finally blew it up and showed what they were doing, what they were making meat out of, and yet people are still going there. Like, they're acting like they're not doing, now that they caught him for this, and they're not going to do anything else for him.
Well, speaking of this, the big evil McDonald's, if we can say that, which I will. I guess we're never going to be a sponsor.
I don't think they're going to sponsor.
The other day, just recently, you've probably seen a lot on the guy who just ate fast food, some professor or whatever he is. So, he must know everything. Lost weight, lost 40 pounds, just eating McDonald's. Now, restricted his calories to prove the point that, it's really just people eat too much. Okay, great. So you can go and now here's the funny part, and I'll tie all this in a sec here. Yeah, he ate less than 2,000 calorie a day diet of McDonald's only for whatever he did, 12 weeks, 2 months, 12 weeks, 90 days, I think he did. Okay, so, and he lost weight. Okay, yay.
Woo, lost weight.
It don't matter. He still put 100% crap into his body.
Yep.
All right, so he's no healthier. I don't care if he dropped 40 pounds. It doesn't. Well, what point is he proven? Yeah, calories are an issue, but here's how I'll tie it in. You know what else is funny? At the same time, it's not coincidence here. McDonald's had an internal memo. They got a thing where they help their employees. They do. Health help and stuff like that, and help them be better and whatever. So one of their things actually was written in one of their things on their website was not to eat their food, that it's unhealthy.
Interesting.
Okay, so that got out, and now they're taking the website down and everything else. That's a big PR nightmare, right? But is it a coincidence that at the same week, the same time, this professor, okay, who only ate McDonald's and lost 40 pounds, is getting all the press? Millions of views. It's on every Facebook thing, everything else. You see here and there about the it's unhealthy, don't eat it. They are just a monster of a PR machine. They know what they're doing, and they buried that story.
Yep.
So they just buried it.
But we're here to uncover
right.
it.
Yes. And we're leading the charge.
You can call us the nutrition detectives.
That's right. We're kind of like that.
We're the ND, not the NYPD, the ND.
Well, kind of, but it's also just we got the BS meter out there. We just know you've got to kind of think this way and go, okay, it's the magician trick. Okay, I was doing my daughter yesterday. I was showing her how to do this, and I say, look, and the ball would disappear, and I put my hand way over here and open it up, and you want to put the thing in my pocket. How'd you do that? I said, watch. We'll see it's not here, and then I take it back out, and then poof, it's back in this hand. I said, you're just looking that way, and that's all they really do. When you're dealing with big corporations, big food, stuff like that, you're going to get that. That's their obligation is to shareholders and to their own bottom line. Which I get. I'm a businessman and everything else, but they'll do it at any cost.
Yep. Okay,
that's the difference. There's a serious lack of integrity and character. Both. They're two different things. But so you got to just be aware. You got to ask the right questions. We had a discussion the other day on Facebook, and I had said, "There's nothing." I'm going to pick on McDonald's here, but Wendy's is no different and stuff like that. But there's nothing there you can eat.
Nothing.
Nothing. Not the coffee, not the salad. I wouldn't put anything that crosses through that threshold into my body. Okay, you don't go there. You just don't go there. All right, and it's just, I mean, I tell you that's why they got the double drive-through, because it's a big addiction thing. You know, people are addicted to the salt, the sugar, all the other chemicals that are in there. All this stuff causes reactions in your brain and your body. Your body's just trying to get rid of it, but it still causes you to get addicted to this stuff. So I'll kind of beat this drum a little bit.
I think we kind of talked about that on our first or second podcast, where you go up to Starbucks and you see the drive-through at 7 a.m. You're going to see the same people there every day at 7 a.m.
Yeah, this is not different every day. Like they were there for their once a week treat at McDonald's.
It's an addiction.
Right. You know, and that's what it is. You know, it becomes their food source, which is not food. Okay, again, nothing coming through that window is food. All right, so you're kidding yourself.
Yep.
You know, so all I'm going to suggest here is just you've got to make better choices. You know, you got to find the better alternatives for stuff, and you know, really kind of. I'm not going to. It's tough to eat out. Okay, it's tough to eat out and eat healthy. All right, so one step that you can do is first is limit, maybe cut back on the times you eat out. That's probably one of the best things you can do. The other thing would be to actually find out what's in the food. You know, get the ingredients. You can.
Well, a lot of menus nowadays, where I go at least, they'll have like the calorie count now and what the ingredients are that are in it.
Yeah, sometimes the ingredients. Sometimes you got to press for the ingredients.
Right.
But and then, like I said, there are places that are doing good things. I know, like Chipotle is doing good things. They're going
GMO free.
Yeah, they're going all GMO free for 2014, which is awesome. You know, those are steps that that make a difference, and that took pressure to do that. Okay, now they're food with integrity, they call it, and all this stuff, which is cool. I like it, but it's like here's another great one. Cheerios just came out; they're going to be GMO free. You know, that's big, right? So that's cool, and applaud them for doing that. But what do we need next? We need third-party verification of GMO free.
Right.
Right. You're talking about General Mills and stuff. Okay, it's a big operation. People can say it's GMO free, but is it? So it's got to be third-party verified. So that I'm sure that'll come down the line, and they'll get that out soon. But that kind of stuff is important. So they'll write. Well, here's the good news. I'll back up for 1 second here. We're making a difference. Okay, people are actually becoming aware. They're finally realizing that food is important.
Yep. So
this is good because a few years ago, 3, 4 years ago, even 2 years ago, people just were not listening. But it's finally starting to kick in, and people are finally starting to realize that without the right nutrition, even in the simplest sense, like this stuff is bad for you. You know, they're finally getting it. So now what? Like I said before, you also got to be aware of, like, they're getting rid of trans fats. Awesome. And I think I may have spoke about this last time, but you just got to know that the scientists for these companies that have to eliminate the trans fats from all their food, it gives them that great shelf life, they're working on the next thing.
Yep.
Okay, so it's going to be some totally different thing, some different name, and everything else. It's going to cause the same havoc on your body. It's going to be another artificial ingredient that is put into your body can't use because they want to maintain that shelf life. They're not going back to the basics where the stuff's going to be good for a week or whatever. So just know that. Be aware of that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what we're getting out here, is that this is just something you want to think about when you're looking at this stuff, and choosing your food wisely.
I have noticed too, it seems like at least, when they come out with like a new box, new look, same great taste kind of thing.
Right.
Look at the ingredients on there, from the old box to the new box. And it might just be me, but I feel like there's a correlation because there seems to be more ingredients in the new box than there was in the old one.
Right.
It's like they're trying to avert your eyes to the new look of the box.
Right.
But really they added another 1 or 2 ingredients, it seems.
Right. Because no one reads the ingredients anyways.
Right.
That's part of the problem. Also, that a change of not a brand, but a change of the box, change of design, increases sales by 50%.
Wow.
Just by changing that. So it's a good move on some levels. Other ones it's not, because people do get comfortable with a certain thing. But from a business standpoint, that can be real profitable for them too. But I believe it. I believe that they'll add stuff. You don't know the difference between one ingredient or the other.
Right.
You read it. You can pronounce 3 of the ingredients of the 20 that are in there. The rest of it must be okay because it's in there.
Right.
And then the USDA is protecting us. Or whatever. And it's just not the case. Just not the case. So. I guess the main thing today, just being a little random thing here, is just really knowing your food source. Understanding where it's coming from, what it is, what's in it. Those are kind of the 3 things. You really need to understand that. Where it's coming from, what it is, and what's in it. Once you because you start with that, you can make kind of an educated decision. Because what's real food, I hope, and what's not. And you start getting into that. So it's. I'm not going to rant too much on meats, chickens, all that kind of stuff. Again, I've said this before. I eat everything. Okay, I don't have a label. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a paleo guy. I'm not none of that stuff. Okay, so I'm not into all that kind of stuff. I just eat quality food. That's what I do. I eat quality, real whole food, and that's the big thing. One other thing I'll touch on is. I've got you ever take, most people, we talk about working out and stuff, you get sore, and now it's New Year, or just after New Year, people are working out, they're getting sore every day, or the first week and everything else. I've got people, like how to alleviate their pain, how about getting rid of lactic acid and everything else and stuff like that. Some people just have a lot of pain. Maybe you hurt your knee, or hurt your back a little bit or something like that, so you're going to pop some Advil, any kind of ibuprofen, you're going to maybe Tylenol, stuff like that. Well, I've got a really cool natural remedy for you that works very, very effective. That's great for your body, no side effects, none of that stuff. It works just awesome. One of it is turmeric. Okay, it's a root. You can get a turmeric extract in a pill form, which would be a capsule form, and you want to get that so it's dried ground turmeric. That's phenomenal for your body, for anti-inflammatory. You'll take this one, it works amazing, no side effects. Also, it's a huge cancer fighter, really big cancer fighter. I mean, there's been tons of studies on this and stuff too. So it is the idea. In matter of fact, it's better than like any drugs that are out there for cancer. Turmeric works better than any of that stuff. So you want a great anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is one of them. Ginger's another great one that works too. Ginger actually put on topically, I mean you actually rub the ginger. If you got a sore muscle, works awesome. So if you got, you may do tea tree oil or something like that, that's all good and everything, but if you actually take a ginger root, cut it and rub it on the area, it actually works awesome. So and it's cheap. It's a lot cheaper than buying the other stuff. So
very cheap. And
you're going to use it you're going to juice it, do ginger shots, you're going to do, use that in your food. It's a great thing to get in your body every day, great for fighting off colds and all that kind of stuff. So that's a really good thing to use too. Another thing, if you got, I watch this commercial with like, I'll probably get the name wrong, Zantac maybe? They're pre-cold. Put the stuff up your nose and whatever, if you think you're getting a cold and it slows the length of the cold, okay? Which is, I really am just jealous I can't market like this. I mean, basically you're putting in some crap in your nose that may slow down the length of your cold, may shorten the length of your cold. Still getting the cold, okay? But I still got to go through that. How do you know if you're going to be 3 days or 2 days with a cold?
Right.
How do you really know?
Look, it shortened the length by.
Okay, but they get $60 for the stuff or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. Over the counter. Okay, so
we gotta work on our marketing skills, man.
Right. Well, it's it's the whole prevention doesn't sell.
Right.
But
that's a different topic.
If you get pre-cold, if you get a pre-cold or your cold's just coming on or you just got a cold, one thing you can do a couple times a day is just apple cider vinegar, lemon, and a little bit of honey. Okay, that's your best pre-cold you'll ever do. Now, you may take 2 to 5 times a day hot water, so you make it a tea. So you get the hot water, not boil, you get it boiling, but then you let it stop boiling, okay? And then you put everything in, pour it in there, stir it up, drink it down. 2 to 5 times a day. Do that. It's really good for you. Now, what I do every morning is I do cayenne pepper, a little shaved cayenne pepper, some turmeric, ground turmeric, dried turmeric I put in there. I do apple cider vinegar, at least a tablespoon, and I squeeze up a wedge of lemon, throw a rind in there and everything, and then I'll do maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon of raw honey, so a local honey. I'll put that in with hot water. That is phenomenal. Now you're getting all the good stuff in that too. So I do that every morning. That's how I start the day. Now remember that cayenne is a great appetite suppressant as well. Spicy foods are good for that kind of stuff, but that's really great for the colon, everything else. Turmeric, again, all that anti-cancer stuff, anti-inflammatory, you're getting that in as well. So get that in. You're getting your apple cider vinegar, great for digestion, okay, and everything else. You got your lemon, the same thing for digestion, pre-digestion, stuff like tons of benefits to lemon. So that kind of stuff, that glass costs you just, I don't know, a couple pennies. All right, you make this stuff and have it in a day, and it's better than anything else you're going to get over the counter. Okay, so just think about that. Yeah, cheaper. Way cheaper. You're just saving so much money, and you really get benefits. And guess what? No side effects.
None.
There's no side effects. Okay, so when you read those boxes, you might get that stuff off the counter, but they all have side effects.
And see, we're already busting the myth that living healthier is more expensive.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It can be. Yeah. But do it right.
Right. It's not, again, it's part of the lifestyle as you get going with this. It's just part of the lifestyle that once you're eating these foods on a regular basis, because I use ginger for a lot of different things. I use cilantro for a lot of different things. I use parsley for different things. I use avocado for different things. So it's not like I buy 8 avocado because I'm going to make this one particular drink or this one particular meal. Now, there's times you get extras because you're making something fancy or something new. That's all good. But in general, my standards, my staples in the house are stuff that I can use in multiple meals. So I'm not, I wish I could have some ginger. I get bummed out when I'm getting low on ginger. I got to go get more. So I mean, you're already looking ahead. That's part of your daily routine. So when you're creating a new lifestyle, that's what you want to do. You want to start. Well, I spend more time in the produce department than anywhere else in the store. That's because that's all the best stuff. And that's where you should be spending a lot of time and learning what that stuff is and doing it. So. Anyway, pretty soon, like I said, we talked about this before too, about your staples and your ketchup. You got, there's more sugar in a tablespoon of ketchup than in Haagen-Dazs ice cream. All right, so think about that.
Wow.
And it's refined, crappy sugar. So you don't want that in your body. So as soon as that ketchup's done, go buy a new bottle. Maybe there's a low sugar, or you can learn how to make it. I make a really good ketchup. It's going to taste way different because there's not a little bit of sugar, but it has no sugar in it. But it tastes phenomenal. I make enough, put it in a squeeze bottle, and off we go. We got ketchup for the family. So there's a lot of things you can do. Yes, you can sell that. No, I'm not going to. But that's again part of the lifestyle. So as you move forward, get into the lifestyle of being healthy. This is what's going to happen. Pretty soon, as things disappear, as soon as you finish product that you shouldn't be eating, and you're going to replace it, that's when you replace it with a healthy thing. Okay, so you've got to find those options and start replacing them with that. That way you're not clearing out the cabinets and dropping $500 to put everything back healthy, because that's just not economical for most people. Right. So just as that one disappears, put it back with a good one, and then that's your new thing. You've got it. So make those conscious choices to keep that going forward, so that in the long run, again, that's what lifestyle change is. Lifestyle, long run, you're just completely healthy. And you'll see and feel the difference for sure. So again, we've talked about before. I've got an ebook coming out. Working diligently on that.
Yes,
making some good progress. That'll cover some of this stuff, a lot of it, and kind of get you in the whole thing, get you in the whole right direction. It'll be free.
Yes.
So we'll let you know. We'll be posting on our Facebook pages and everywhere else.
It's our little Christmas present to you.
Right.
Late Christmas present to you all.
It'll be like Valentine's Day present.
Right. Yeah. More like a Valentine's Day.
Hopefully not Easter.
No, not an Easter.
So like Valentine's Day, we'll be ready to roll this thing out on Valentine's Day. But we're working hard getting on this stuff. We got a lot going on, so it's all good. So that's pretty much what I got today. Did you have anything to add, Jake?
No, you pretty much just touched everything today. You touched every topic today. I didn't even need to talk.
Yes.
I just give my little pointers here and there, and boom,
good.
Up and away we go.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll keep it relatively short today, comparatively speaking. So, don't forget to subscribe.
Of course.
Subscribe to our podcast, our YouTube page. Like us on Facebook.
Anvilworks. Just type in Anvilworks.
Just get on there. We're there.
There's a little picture of a gym. That's us.
Yeah, and that may change, but hey, you get the idea. But find us, like us, and that way you can be looking for this ebook and stuff like that. It'll be coming out in a few weeks. What kind of just want to keep you all dialed in and in touch. We do some great posts on Facebook too, a couple times a day, so you'll get some useful information, some entertaining. You do some entertaining stuff. We got some funny stuff coming out today.
Know your foods.
Yes, know what you're eating, know your foods in an entertaining way. It's all good. So yeah, just stay dialed in. Remember that surrounding yourself with health, surrounding yourself with fitness, keeping in that, creating that circle around you and doing a daily effort toward learning more or listening more or whatever the case is going to get you where you want to go. Next thing you know, 6 months is going by, a year is going by, and wow, you're a different person. It's really great. You can't even believe where you were 6 months or a year ago just by making little changes every day. Okay. Great talking to you. See ya.
See y'all.